and welcome back to another video. So today I have a video that has been requested time and time again, and we are going to do a comparison on the SCHPIEREER FARBEN pencils. These are both oil-based pencils and both budget friendly. So we're going to compare the SCHPIEREER FARBENs with the 120 set of Brutfuner colored pencils. And I'm going to go over a few things about these pencils. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the differences between each one of these sets. We'll go over the prices and how much they are, at least right now, how much they are on Amazon as of today when this video posts. So if you are watching this video way into the future, please do know that when I give you prices or the availability of these pencils, this video is being filmed in the beginning of March 2021. We are also going to do a blend test and see how each one of these pencils lay down on paper. And of course I'm going to use my favorite Spring Hill paper because I find that one works the best with most all pencils, and I want to be able to test both of these pencils out on the same kind of paper so that way we could tell the real difference in how they're gonna perform when we go one up against the other. If you enjoy videos like this and you want to continue seeing my content, please do make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn your bell notifications on. In the description box below, you will find links down there for my Facebook group as well as my email list and also my Patreon if you would like to support me there. We are going to go ahead and get into this video so we can do a really good comparison with both of these budget-friendly oil-based pencil sets. I have the boxes here from, or the tins, from each one of these pencils that they came in. Of course, you all know that I don't keep my pencils in their tins. Let's go ahead and look at the SCHPIEREER FARBEN tin first, and I'm just going to show you how they come when they come to you. But you've got the name of the pencils on here, SCHPIEREER FARBEN, of course, artist colored pencils, premium pigments, bright vivid colors. And this one is the 96 set. Now the SCHPIEREER FARBENs come in the 96 set and they also come in a 72 set. You can purchase the 96 set for $44.97 right now on Amazon. And you can purchase the 72 set right now on Amazon for $34.97. So it comes in this tin, and it's actually a pretty nice tin. But as you can see, it opened very nicely, and then it had this little piece of paper here, wax paper, and then the tins have where you could just kind of pull them out here like this with your fingers, each one of the trays. And they actually, when they come to you, come pretty nicely packaged, and I didn't have any issues with any of my pencils when I ordered this set. So of course I've taken mine out of here, and they are now in my favorite pencil cases. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know exactly which pencil cases those are, but they are these pencil cases here, and this is the one that houses my SCHPIEREER FARBEN pencils. I don't have the 72 set, I only have the 96 set, so we are comparing the 96 set today. And here is the case that the 120 set of Brutfuner oil-based colored pencils come in. It comes with this sleeve that is just over the tin like this, that just pulls out, and then you've got a black tin. Let me see how easily I can open this. This one was a little more difficult to open, so I kind of edited that part out. So it comes with this spongy piece here that lays on top that protects your pencils, and then it comes with this 120 Brutfuner. It says DIY colorless, so you could swatch your colors out on there. You guys know I always use my own swatch lists. And if you didn't already see my previous video where I did a review on these pencils, I will make sure that is linked in the upper right hand corner. I also have one where I reviewed, and I believe, I don't remember if I did a swatch or just a blend test, but I do have a video on the SCHPIEREER Farbens, and I'll make sure that one is linked as well. But this one comes with these little rubber band type things here that you can lift each one of the trays out with. And do know that when you get your pencils, I know a lot of you are still ordering this pencil set, but when you get these pencils, it will most likely look as though you are missing a pencil, because they kind of move around the box in shipping. And so a lot of people are getting their pencils and thinking that they are missing a pencil, when in all actuality you're actually not. They've just kind of shifted around, and so it looks like there's an empty space. But if you kind of roll them around and shift them back, you will see that you probably most likely have all of your pencils. Go ahead and count them and make sure that you have 120, because when I first got mine, I thought that I was missing one too, but you are not missing a pencil. The first thing I wanted to go over is the differences in the color ranges from the two different sets. So I'm going to do that with this set first, and then I will show you the Brutfuner set. But do know that with the Brutfuner set, you're getting 120 pencils, and so of course you're going to get more colors. And with this one, you're getting 96. And also keep in mind that the 120 of the Brutfuner colored pencils is more, I would say it's more of a value, because you are getting 120 pencils for a cheaper price, since those are $33.99 right now, and you get, there's actually a coupon right now on Amazon for 10% off on those. So here are the SCHPIEREER Farben, and let's take a look at the colors. So I'm going to hold these a little bit closer to the camera, and sometimes it's kind of hard to tell what exactly the colors are, because we're really just looking at the tips of the pencils to kind of see what the differences in the color ranges are between both of the sets. So apparently I did swatch these. I just went and checked my swatching binder, and I was able to find this. So we could actually see what the colors are, the actual colors, rather than just kind of looking in the case at what the color range is. But let's go ahead and take a look at this first. So we start here, as I always do, out with white, and then we go into our yellows, and then of course these mustardy yellows, and then we go into the peachier colors or coral type colors into the oranges. Then I pick up on the other side with more orange. And the only thing that I will mention about this set is that I wish we had more reds. And I guess in a set of 96, that's really going to be a little bit more difficult to find. Like if I look at the swatch sheet here, I can see that there are 3 reds right here, 3 different shades of red. So it does look like we have, yeah, I guess 3 would be maybe a good amount of reds. And then this plum here has a lot of red and purple in it. So I don't know, I guess for a 96 set that would be okay. You will always find that with any pencil set that you purchase, whether it's budget friendly or artist grade, you really usually don't get a whole lot of reds, because I don't know, reds are kind of scattered around the swatch sheet usually when I swatch my pencils, because like if I look down here, I actually have a brown that has a lot of red in it. So we've got the browns that have reds in them, and of course with this set we do get 1. And then we have these 3 reds up here, and then we have a purple here that has a lot of red in it as well. So I mean, I guess that's a good amount. But then like if you look at the blues, you could see we've got a whole lot of shades of blues and a whole lot of shades of greens. Look at all these greens. But there's so many different shades of greens, because you've got your bright greens, and then you're just kind of more primary greens here, and then some brighter, like more appley type greens. And then you've got all of these olive greens down here, and then you've got your greens that actually have blue in them that are more like a teal color. You've got a lot of mixtures between the blues and the greens, and that's usually the case in a lot of pencil sets. So I think we do have a pretty good range of colors, but I'll just flip through here so you guys can get a good idea of exactly what they look like. And that is all of them. So let me go ahead and take one out so you guys know I'm gonna pull this really pretty green color out for y'all to see it. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the barrel of the pencil just so I can show you exactly what it looks like, but it has the colored tips on these, and so it is covered on the top, so we really can't tell how centered the lead is within the barrel. It's a little more difficult to tell, but I don't think that this has been sharpened yet. I think that this is the way that they come. I've used them a little bit, but I never went through and actually sharpened every single one of these. I'm pretty sure that this is how they come as far as the way that the lead looks, and I think it looks like I just maybe used this one just to be able to swatch it. And I've not used these a whole lot, but when I did use them, I used a lot of the reds and the oranges and the yellows, and as you can tell, you can see that some of these I definitely sharpened with my favorite pencil sharpener, the Doll 133. So yeah, by looking through some of these, you could totally tell that some of them are sharpened. So this is definitely, or most likely, the way that they did come to me when I got them. And I'm surprised that I didn't go through and sharpen all these before I swatched them, because I usually always do that. But apparently I didn't do it in this case. So let's go ahead and look here, but we've got the name of the pencil on here, and then what does it say over here? Excellent. It's got like a little crown and then says excellent. And then it says SCHPIEREER FARBEN here on the top of the barrel, on top of the color dipped top. And as you can see, the color dipping goes all the way down here to like the halfway part of the pencil, and that's a little bit different and unique because I don't think I've seen any other pencils that do that. But it has the color listed here, so the color is lime, and then it actually has a number too, so it says 570. So every color is going to have a name and a number. So I just wanted you to be able to take a closer look. If I don't know if you want to pause the screen or whatever, if that's more convenient for you, but I'll just leave this here for a second so that you could take a look at the color range that you get in this 96 set. It's actually a really good range of colors and a really great selection for what you're getting for the price. And these are beautiful pencils. They go down on the paper really, really beautifully, and every coloring book that I've tried them in so far, they work wonderfully. And I think that I've used them in a Maria Troll book and World of Flowers. You guys know those are my favorite books. So anytime I get new pencils, those are the books I go to. But not anymore because I just got a new favorite book. I have my Forest Girl book now that I've been wanting forever, and I know so many of you saw that flip through. If you didn't see that flip through, I'll link it in the upper right hand corner so you can go check that out, but it is a gorgeous book. Let's go ahead and take a look at the range of colors here in this set. This is the 120 squared Brutfuner set, and I did a video where I swatched all of these out, and this colored pencil swatch chart is actually one that I made, and I made available in my Facebook group. So if you would like to get this chart for yourself, you could go to my Facebook group and go to the files section, and you can print this swatch sheet out. I really love it because it's got a space here for the number and then a space here for the name. In the files section in my Facebook group, you will also find a complete list of translations. So all of the names, since they are written in Chinese on the pencil, they've all been translated, and so that is what this is here. And I will make sure that that video is linked up in the upper right hand corner because I put all of these into perfect color family order so that you didn't have to. So you would just print this out and then you would follow along in the video and you would have this exactly like I do. But this is the colors. Look how pretty they are. I love this set. I absolutely love this set. So here are all the colors. I think I have them all on the screen. So if you just want to pause it for this one and you could take a look at the range of colors. Okay, so I'm going to put those aside, and then we're going to open this. And I do have a couple pencils out because you guys know I've been doing my color and chat where I'm answering your questions. Yesterday was a little bit of a tutorial as well, and we all had so much fun in a live premiere, being chitty-chatty and everything. It was great. I loved it. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure that is linked in the upper right-hand corner as well. But these are my 120 set. Some of the colors that are missing are from the greens and the purples because those are the colors I'm using in the page that I'm coloring in Nightfall. I have loved using these pencils, but you could see how they look here in their case. Aren't they gorgeous? Oh, they're so pretty. These pencils, you guys have no idea, these pencils bring me so much joy. I already ordered my second set because they go so in and out of being able to get them that I was just kind of worried as to whether or not I'd be able to get it like far into the future, if I'd be able to get another set. And so I went ahead and ordered a second set, so this way if I do really start using them a lot, which I see that I will because I have been, so, you know, as I sharpen them and I need an extra pencil, I'll have another set to go grab a replacement from because I don't want to be without that should they no longer be available in the future. And if you guys are interested in these pencils, I will make sure that they're linked in the description box below. I'll have links for everything down there. Let's go ahead and let's pull out a purple one. And so let's take a look at these. Now, if you want to see the full review, that will be linked in the upper right-hand corner because I already did a full review on these pencils. I've colored with these pencils in my color and chat, and I'm really getting to know these pencils, and I really do love them. So we have the name here in Chinese, but you will find the translations for all of the names in the files section in my group if you're interested in that. They have the number up here on the top of the pencil. And then on the other side, it says Brutfuner. These don't have the color dipped top just like the SCHPIEREER Farbens do. So you can look at these and you can tell that the lead inside the pencil is very nicely centered. So these have already been sharpened. That's the lead. I use my Dahl 133. You guys know that I always use my Dahl 133. So that's how they look now. That's not how they look when they first came to me, but if you want to see how they look when they first came to me or how they look when they come to you in the mail, you can check out my review video. So let's lay each one of these right next to one another. And as you can see, the Brutfuner is a square pencil and the SCHPIEREER Farben is a round pencil. This one does not have the color dipped tip, but it's got the entire colored barrel. The SCHPIEREER Farben has the color dipped tip and it's got gold down the other half of the pencil with this little silver design ring here kind of in the middle. They look to be about the same size. They both feel right about the same weight, and they're a pretty light pencil. Both of them are a pretty light pencil, so they're going to be really comfortable in your hand. The square shape on this, I know a lot of you have asked me if this is uncomfortable to hold. If you place it within your fingers the exact way so that your fingers are laying right up against the flat part, it's actually much more comfortable than holding a round pencil. I'm really enjoying them. That is a comparison as far as what they look like. And like I said earlier, the reason I'm comparing these two is because so many people have asked me, because I think that these are probably right now the two most popular budget-friendly pencils for colorists. I'm just going to go ahead and flip through this so that you can see the range of colors after I arranged them in perfect color family order. They are really, really beautiful. I love these pencils, but let's go ahead and talk about the colors that you get in here. I know we already looked at the swatch sheet, but let's go back over this. And I know that I had mentioned in the other set, the SCHPIEREER Farben set, where you get 96 pencils compared to the 120, that you are only going to get 3 reds. Here, if you look at this really quickly, you get these 3 reds right here. Of course, you get your, like I said earlier, this one reddish brown, which is kind of like a brick, a red brick color, I guess. And that's probably all. Like, you've got this watermelon color here, but that has a lot of orange in it, more so than red. And then you've got this plum that has kind of red mixed with purple. So that's what you get in the Spear Farben. And then if we look at these, let's go ahead and take a look at the reds, because reds are probably one of the colors that you get the least of in a lot of pencil sets. So those are the ones that I always like to look at. And then the other thing you guys know that always makes me crazy is I always want a light blue. And it is so hard to find a light blue. That's why I'm so obsessed with my Prismacolors, because I've got that, what is it, sky blue, cloud blue, and I can't think of the name of the last one. But there's some beautiful blues in the Prismacolor, and we have quite a few to choose from, like 3 of them, I believe. But many other sets don't have that, and there's not in budget sets anyway, but you can find it in artist grade sets. But we're all about saving money, right? Okay, so let's take a look at some of these reds. So we've got our deep, deep red here. And then we've got this one that translates to Crimson Lips, which is looks like a more primary type red. Actually, it might have, I think it has a good amount of pink in it. And this one has more red in it. It's much easier to tell when I'm sitting there swatching them out and looking at them really, really closely. But you've got all your reds within here, or your mixtures of like reds with oranges, and then you've got your like deeper reds, and then here we're getting into the reds that have more pink in them. So I would say our reds are kind of from here to maybe right here. This one has a lot of orange in it though. And then let me check the browns. So if I look at the browns, I don't really have a really reddish brown. The browns in this set, that's the one thing I will say about this set, is this set is really cool, because if you look at the swatch sheet, look at the different shades that come here in the selections of browns. And it took me so long to figure out where to put some of these pencils. I would like swatched and swatched and re-swatched and re-swatched, and I did not stop until I got it right in exactly the way that I wanted it to look after it was laid out on the swatch sheet. And I tested it out so many times. I mean, when I tell you this took me hours and hours over days, like, that's not even exaggerating because I just wanted it to be perfect. But look at the difference in some of these browns. Like, some of them have orange in them, some of them have pink in them. This is the most different set of browns I've ever seen in any set. So, and I don't know, like, probably with the Luminance set is, I haven't really looked at it yet, but the Luminance set has a lot of very different colors in it. So I'm going to check on that, but I'm pretty sure that the Luminance set is one of the sets that you could get very different colors like that. And this is the only other one that I've seen that is like that. So I just thought that was really, really cool. I picked out a few different pencils because we're going to go ahead and do a blend test, but these were not sharpened, so I thought that I would go ahead and show you this with the Speer Farbens. I already showed it in my review on the Brutfuner pencils and how they sharpen. They sharpen so nicely in this pencil sharpener, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how the Doll 133 works with the Speer Farben. And I did one off camera, and I wanted to do it on camera just because I wanted to mention it. Those of you that have watched my reviews previously on colored pencils, I always like to test them out in my Doll 133 because it really helps me to be able to tell how soft the wood of the pencil is or how hard the wood of the pencil is. Like, if I put a Crayola in here, I'm going to be spinning and spinning and spinning, and it's going to take probably all of my strength just to spin the lever down, or just to spin the lever in the back so that I can sharpen my pencil. And yes, this pencil sharpener will handle it. I sharpened my entire 120 set of Crayolas with this pencil sharpener, and it is still going strong. So it's not a problem. It just helps you to know how well the pencil is made, You know, because like the Crayolas are very, very, very budget friendly. So with a very, very budget friendly pencil, you're not going to get a really good quality wood barrel on that pencil. So this one is very soft. It really is. I mean, it feels the same as if I were to sharpen one of my Prismacolors. It's very easy to turn the lever, and I'm doing it with a whole lot of ease. And this is the lead that it creates on my pencil. And here is all three of them. But look how beautiful. I went to my sets and I chose some colors here. I've got a shadowing color, a mid-tone, and a highlight color for my SCHPIEREER Farbens. And then I did the same with the 120 Brutfuner set. And we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a blend test, and we're going to see how they compare to one another. So when I'm using oil-based pencils, I usually start with my lightest color first. And so I'm just going to lay some of that down here. Then I'm going to come in with my next color, and I'm just going to kind of lay this one over the other. Then I'm going to come in with my last much darker pinky purple. And I want to make sure that I'm creating a little bit of a transition between the colors because I want to really see how they lay down when they get to that transition point, like right here or right here where the two colors are meeting. So I'm going to come back with my mid-tone and I'm going to pull that down just a little bit more. And then I'm going to come back with my lightest color, which would be my highlight color, and I'm going to add another layer with that. Now these are oil-based pencils, so they are meant to layer one color over the other or one layer over the other to create more pigment and fill the white of the paper without applying a whole lot of pressure. Because if you start applying too much pressure, even with a paper that has a lot of tooth in it, you will start to flatten the tooth of the paper and then it won't be able to hold the pencil anymore while you're trying to cover all that white and get enough layers down onto the paper. So oil-based pencils work a little bit differently and have a little bit of a learning curve more so than wax-based pencils. But if you look at this blend, like, I don't know, I think it looks really, really good. And if you can see this, I'm still applying layers. You could still see more pigment going down onto the paper. And I'm just coming back one and then the other. And I just keep coming back and laying more layers down. And the paper seems to be taking quite a bit of layers with these pencils. These colors are pretty too. I always like to do pinks because I feel like you can see those on the camera a lot better. They just really tend to stand out. Let me go ahead and come back and come the other direction, and I'm going to fill in some of the white of the paper. I'm not pushing too hard because I don't want to flatten too much of the tooth of the paper, and I'm just really trying to test these and see what my transition line looks like, or if they're going to even blend together and maybe create another color right at the transition point. I think that blended really, really nicely. And I don't know that they necessarily created another color at the transition point, but they just really more so kind of blended together really nicely. And I could probably still get more layers down here, and they are just kind of pulling right down and making a pretty seamless line between the two colors where they transition from one another. I'm gonna go ahead and go back a little bit more with my lightest color and kind of go in a circular motion here with a little bit harder pressure just to see the results that I get as I feel more of that white of the paper. But I'm getting quite a few layers with these pencils. I think I am getting now to the point of enough layers down on the paper, and that white seems to be starting to go away now. I still see a little bit more white of the paper here in the darker color, so I could probably add another layer, but this gives us a really good look at how these pencils are going to blend for us. And we're going to come over here and we are going to do the same with the 120 set of the Brutfuner pencils. So we're going to do the same thing right over here so that we can compare. And I'm going to do it the same way as I did it before. I'm going to come here and lay my lightest color down first. Now, as I'm laying these down, they do feel pretty much the same. And really the only difference is this pencil is square shaped. And so of course I can feel that in my hand, but as far as the pencils or the pigment touching the paper and the way that they are laying down onto the paper, it's actually really nice and they feel pretty much the same. So this is my second color and I'm just kind of coming down over that lightest highlight color with this one. And then I'm going to get my darkest color. And I'm just starting up a little bit higher and coming down to be able to create that little bit of transition here. And I don't know, are these blending a little bit better? We will see after we get a little bit more down on the paper. Let me come back with my lightest color now. And when working with oil-based pencils, it may take you a little bit longer because the whole point, or a little bit longer, I guess I should say, than wax-based pencils, because you guys know that use wax-based pencils like Prismacolors, you can lay that pencil down and it's going to release a lot of pigment down onto that paper, and they're just all just going to blend together. And the whole idea of oil-based pencils is that you would just continue to lay down layer after layer in light layers until the white of the paper has been filled. And I feel like I'm using the same amount of pressure. And I already feel like with these Brutfuner pencils that I'm kind of coming to an end in how many layers I can lay down. I didn't count how many layers I was laying down. You guys can feel free to count as you watch the video. Now I'm just coming back the other way to fill some of that white. And then I'm coming back here where that transition line was, and I'm going to lay a little bit more of my mid-tone down. And now I am going to grab my lightest color and I'm going to start at that transition where I went from the mid-tone to the lightest tone, and I'm just going to pull that down over the top into its own area of color. And let's look at these really closely. So I feel like maybe, you know what, let me come back and try to add one more layer, because I would hate to think that I could get more layers down with the SCHPIEREER FARBEN, because I'm looking at this and I'm looking like, as far as the transitions and the blends, it's looking to me like the Brutfuner set has actually beat out the SCHPIEREER FARBEN set. Not to say that the SCHPIEREER FARBEN set are not great pencils. They're fantastic. I absolutely love them. But I think as you get more layers with this set of pencils, they just kind of feel a little bit different than the SCHPIEREER FARBEN did. But I still see the white of the paper. So maybe I can keep adding layers. So they probably are about the same. Yeah, because I could still, if you could see this on camera, you could see this hot pink type color laying down more and more pigment, and we're kind of losing a lot of the white of the paper here. And I'm wondering if, as we continue to keep laying color down, if the transition is still going to stay so awesome like this. Okay, so now I'm coming in with harder pressure. They are about the same. I'm still laying more layers down, and these are blending together beautifully. And I'm just going to take my lightest color and go all the way up in here in my darkest, into my darkest color. And I'm going to bring all of these together. And I think I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the same thing that I did over here where I kind of burnished it out. I'm going to do the same thing with the lightest color of the SCHPIEREER Farben so we can see. And these are blending out even better. Right here, though, I still do see a clear line, but there is a pretty big transition from the darkest color I used to the mid-tone I used. So I don't know if maybe that would kind of blend out. I'm really trying to put these pencils to the test to give you guys a really good idea of how these pencils perform. Now, do know that this is how they're going to perform on this paper, comparing one to the other as far as how they blend. But when you put them in a coloring book and you start coloring in a coloring book and applying the pigment, you may get different results. But this keeps it fair. But I can see a clear line here. Now, that's not to say if I didn't go get another transition color. Let me actually do that. What was I using here? Sassy Pink and Plum. So if I look here, I've got my Plum is down here, and then Sassy Pink is right here. So you can see there is a pretty big variance in those two colors. Let me grab the Purple Pink and see if I can take away a little bit of that transition line there. I have my Purple Pink, and I'm going to come in here, and I don't know how much of the tooth of the paper I actually have left to be able to work this out and see how well this works. That did help a lot. That helped quite a bit, actually. Let me go the other direction. I'm pretty much out of the white of the paper on this SCHPIEREER Farben blend. But if we look at this, I don't know, I can still see the line here, the transition line from one color to the other. And I feel like these colors have about the same difference in value as the two colors that I went with for the 120 Brutfuner set. And if you look at these, you can see that the blend, to me, I don't know what you guys can see in camera, maybe I'll see different when I go back and I edit this, but if I'm looking at this, it looks like the Brutfuner did actually blend a bit much better together. But see, if I look here at this transition line between the mid-tone and the highlight, I don't really see a line here on this one. So it may just be that that color has a whole lot of red in it, and it's such a deep, deep red. And this color has a lot more purple in it. But as far as my blend test, I just really want to be really, really fair in this. And I'm actually thinking that I like the Brutfuner pencils better. I don't know. Should we do one more test, guys? I should do one more test. I don't know. Or maybe I should do the SCHPIEREER again. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to do the SCHPIEREER again. And instead of using that dark of the darkest color that I used, I'm going to try it with that, what was it called? Purple pink. So we're going to go purple pink and which one was it? So we're getting rid of the plum. Let me see what I have here and let me look at my swatch sheet. So I've got sassy pink and purple pink. So I've got sassy pink and purple pink, and this one is just a little bit darker than that one. And that is the difference between that one and the plum. The plum is really, really dark. So this is the plum and this is the purple pink. And I'm gonna see, let's go ahead and try this one more time with the SCHPIEREER, and I think I'm gonna do it right over here with this other set of colors. So I'm gonna come here again and I'm just gonna lay down my lightest color. And then I am going to come over here with my, was it the sassy pink next? Yeah, sassy pink is next. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to lay this over the top of that lightest shade and kind of down into the very lightest highlight color. And that was what, my second layer? So we're going to come in here with the purple pink and I'm going to come up a little bit higher. And I'm going to pull down into that mid-tone. And I could already tell that these colors are blending together much better. I think that it was just such a big transition, and this color has so much red in it, that it was having a harder time and kind of leaving that line there. Because if you look at this, you can see that there is, I could still see it a little bit, but I've got a pretty good blend there. I'm going to come back and lay more of my darkest color down. Look at the pigment go down though. These are really pigmented pencils. Let's go back over the center. See, these are blending much better together. So maybe it was just our color, because you guys, you know, I want to be really fair when I'm doing this. But I feel like these two colors are very close in color, and I still feel like I should have been able to get a better blend over here when I did these two. But you know, we do need to keep in mind that these are a budget-friendly pencil. And so we really can't hold them to the high standards that we would hold something like a polychromos as far as having very smooth transition lines in our blends. I'm just coming back and trying to fill some of the white of the paper, and I'm going in a circular motion as I lay layers, applying light pressure. And then I'm going to come back with my lightest color. I'm using a little bit more pressure than I was before because I really want to get some of this down here on the paper, but not so much that I am completely trying to get rid of all of the tooth of the paper yet, because I still want to come back with another layer. Okay, so let's come back with the purple pink. And now I'm going to apply harder pressure because I do want to actually get rid of the white of the paper now, because I feel like I got a good amount of pigment down there. And the white of the paper is really kind of going away now, so we're burnishing it out a little bit. I'm going to come back with the lightest color and go over all of it. But if you look at this now, you can see that it did make a much smoother transition line there. And I'm just kind of going back in a circular motion just to kind of try to smooth it all out. And then let's take our lightest color so that we could kind of bring all the colors together and completely get rid of the white of the paper. And I think now we do have a much smoother transition. If you look at these now, it looks as though my darkest tone, or what would be my shadowing color that I chose, is actually very comparable to the mid-tone that is over here in the Brutfuner set. So it would be my assumption that the Brutfuner set is kind of blending a little bit better, just because if I look at this, I could still kind of see that transition line, but I can also see that they have actually blended together much better than over here on the SCHPIEREER Farben, where I tried to blend together a darker tone with this mid-tone that was quite a few values in difference. Looking at that, I don't know, I kind of think they're both fabulous pencils. And you can see here that the blend was much nicer and much more seamless. But on first try with the Brutfuners, I was able to blend those together, and even though I could still see where the transition is, they're very nicely blended, and like I really wouldn't expect more than that from what I would consider a budget-friendly pencil. And for 120 pencils for an oil-based set, if you don't want to run out and get something like polychromos, I would say these are a really good value. They're $33.99. Right now there's a 10% off coupon. And I don't know, I'm really enjoying using them. Let's do one more thing. And I am going to, I'm looking at some of these colors here, but I kind of want to mix the two pencils for those of you that have both sets, so I could kind of show you how they work together. And so let's go ahead and take the darkest color from the Brutfuner, which is 105. So this color here, this color right here. Let's go ahead and use the SCHPIEREER Farben Far Midtone. So we want to use whatever, should we use this one here? Or should we use this one here? We're going to go ahead and use the purple pink from the SCHPIEREER Farben set, and then we are going to get our lightest shade from the Brutfuner set, which was the 100. So we're going to put these together, and we're going to use the SCHPIEREER Farben pencil as our midtone, and we're going to see how they blend together with one another for those of you that want to be able to use two of your pencil sets together. Because if you put both of these pencil sets together, you've got a whole lot of pencils. So let's go ahead and lay this one down. I'm going to come back with my midtone, which is, that was my Brutfuner. This one is going to be my SCHPIEREER Farben, and I'm going to lay that over this pencil. It lays down very nicely right over it. And then I'm going to come back in here with my darkest tone And I'm going to pull that into the mid-tone. Now let's come back where I started and add a little bit more of this lighter color here, second layer. And I'm only going up here a little bit into the transition line, but not all the way into where I want to see just that color. And then I am going to apply a second layer of my mid-tone and go up into my shadowing color, my darkest tone. And then I kind of am pulling up a little bit on the pressure I'm adding to my pencil as I come down into that lightest tone. Now I'm applying a little bit more pressure here where I want just that color. And I'm coming down into my mid-tone. And look at that transition. Now look at these two together. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's come back and start going the other direction. So let me add another layer here with my Brutfuner. Now I'm going to come back with my mid-tone, which is my SCHPIEREER Farben. Now I'm going to come back with my darkest tone, which is my Brutfuner pencil. And then I'm going to kind of go in a circular motion down here as I'm coming down into this other color. And look at this transition. Now see, these are blending together. They're two different colors from the two different sets are blending together beautifully. So there you go, guys. If you wanted to use them together, let's see how much more of a seamless blend I can get down here from my mid-tone into my lightest tone, where we're going from the SCHPIEREER Farben into the Brutfuner pencil. Wow. So I don't know, maybe they are comparable. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below, because it's so much easier sometimes to be able to see. Like when I go into editing and I start editing the video, I may see something completely different than what I see looking at it here with my glasses. I'm coming back and I'm adding a little more pigment with my Brutfuner in my darkest shade. That blend is like seamless. That's pretty crazy. And I still have a whole lot of the way to the paper left here with the Brutfuner. Like I can continue to add more layers as long as I'm not applying a huge amount of pressure. Really? Let's go ahead and go back over the whole entire thing with the lightest color. This blended out so seamlessly. That's just amazing. Wow. Okay, so before I end this video, I think I want to do this blend one more time here. And I know that this is probably going to be a long video, but I want to try this one more time to see if maybe it is something that I did, because looking at this where I blended these colors together, it's so seamless and it's two different pencils. So we're going to try this again. And I'm going to do it right next to the one that I already did. because I want this to be a really thorough blend test. I don't want it to be just kind of like mediocre. I really just want to figure this out and see how the two of these pencils perform one against the other. So I'm going to come in here with my next shade. And the first time it may have been something I did, or maybe I applied too much pressure. I don't know. I didn't think that I was. But we're going to find out now. This color is a lot better. And there we go. I sped it up to music because I didn't want you guys waiting to see it all come together, but that's our results. And look at the difference. I actually was able to hide that transition line. I probably maybe, I don't know, maybe when I go back to edit this, I'll be able to see what I did, but I may have just applied too much pressure and not lifted enough pressure up off the pencil right there where I'm still seeing that transition line, because look how beautiful this is. So now they look exactly and performed exactly like the Brutfuner pencil did. And I have been working with the Brutfuner pencils for days now because I'm just so obsessed with them. I've actually been sitting and coloring with them, and I've used them in my color and chats. So I've gotten much more used to these pencils. So maybe that is the case as well. But look. So it actually, the transition is actually very nice. You really can't see any lines there. They transitioned seamlessly from one color to the other. And then we can also see down here by looking at this one that if you wanted to, you can mix both of those pencils together and they create a beautiful blend. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know that so many of you had requested it, and I wanted to make sure that the blend test was really, really thorough. So I hope that I did that for you. So if you are trying to choose between one set or the other, you have been able to look at what I've come up with here and kind of try to make your own decision as far as which set you think would fit you better, as far as the color ranges and the way that they lay down on the pencil. Of course, they both are oil-based pencils, and that's why I'm doing the comparison between these two, because they're both oil-based pencils and they're both budget-friendly. Now, the Brutfuners, as I said, are much more budget-friendly than the SCHPIEREER Farbens. You're going to pay a little bit more money for the SCHPIEREER Farbens and get less pencils, but if you wanted both sets, you would have a really good range of colors to be able to use on your coloring pages. And you guys know how much I love color palettes and following color palettes. You'd have much more colors to choose from when you're creating those color combinations, trying to fill your color palettes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed creating it. I always do. I enjoy creating all my videos, but I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Happy coloring. Bye.